welcome back to the channel. As you can see by the intro and by the title, of course, we are in Detroit for the Detroit International Auto Show. So I think there's a couple of debuts here, especially for the Mustang. It's a pretty big show, so I think there will be some interesting stuff to see. There's a whole like supercar exhibit as well. There's a modified section. Kind of see there's already a modified Ram back there and a modified Viper ACR behind me. We will head into the main show section and check that out. So of course, if you aren't already, make sure you've hit that big red subscribe button, like and share the videos, leave your comments. Let's get at it. And here we go, guys. What's probably the star of the show, I would say, because there's a very unexpected surprise release from Ford, is the Mustang GTD Spirit of America edition. So obviously what should stand out to you guys is the special livery package. It's pretty much an appearance package at the end of the day, but you do get these red and blue stripes over the white body. I believe it goes through to the accents on the seats as well. It's kind of hard to see the interior, but I do like the livery. It's very, very nice, and I think this car needs no introduction. It just did a sub 7-minute time at the Nürburgring, 800 horsepower. It's a street legal Mustang GT3 race car, basically. It is ballistic. There's so many cool little details and parts on this car. The GT3 RS style louvers over the front wheels look fantastic. All of the aero. And as it's going to spin around to the back here, I will show you guys some more details on the Spirit of America edition, but it really doesn't even matter what spec you get. This car is just incredible. But if you are one of the lucky people to get the Spirit of America edition, you do get bragging rights. Now as the car is spinning around here on the pedestal, the Spirit of America edition Mustang GTD, another different feature is this like carbon fiber package. The whole rear wing is now exposed carbon fiber. You got the Mustang decal, the whole rear diffuser also carbon fiber. I think we did see a Mustang GTD back at Laguna Seca in August that also had like a special carbon fiber package, but all the Spirit of America limited editions will have all of the exposed carbon fiber bits of all of the arrows, so the front splitter as well, the side blades, and obviously, as you guys already saw, you do have the red, white, and blue livery. I think all of them are going to be the same paint scheme. I mean, it only makes sense. It is, of course, the Spirit of America edition. You got to rep the national colors. But this was a surprising debut. I had honestly no idea that Ford was planning any sort of special edition of the Mustang GTD. Already a very special car, 800 horsepower, Nürburgring monster. But man, that is just so damn cool. I really like the livery too. It's very simple, but it works. There's another surprise release, and this one is a brand new car. It's the Spirit of America. Is a special edition of the GTD. This is the Mustang RTR. So apparently this is only the second time that Ford's ever collaborated with an outside brand, like a performance variant of any car. I think the first one was the Hertz rental car Mustangs. So the RTR is pretty special, and if you're not familiar with RTR, it's Von Gittin Jr.'s company, like professional drifter. I think he was a Formula Drift champion too, always races Mustangs, and his tuned Mustangs have become pretty popular too, but this one is offered from the factory. There's not too much like on performance specs yet, but one thing that does stand out is like the little like angel or halo lights just around the front grille there. Pretty synonymous with RTR cars. So that will come from the factory now. You don't need to modify your car to get that look anymore. But what's interesting about this is apparently it's not based on the V8. It's going to be the EcoBoost motor. So I don't know if this will sit like in between the GT and the Dark Horse maybe in terms of performance. We'll have to wait on that. But you do get these like special like lime green colored brake calipers, which are pretty interesting. I don't imagine you'll be able to get this livery from the factory. I'm pretty sure it'll just be like base Mustang colors, but man, that is pretty interesting. It looks like a Mustang, I would have to say. It's not too much difference in the body. So yeah, even the back is very just distinctly Mustang. The wing is very reminiscent of like the Dark Horse or the GT. So we'll have to wait and see really what the performance figures are on this. I'm quite curious to find out what RTR has done to it. I'm sure they would have made it a bit lighter, a bit more power from the regular EcoBoost variant, but hey, this would be a nice, like, again, like a nice little, like, or almost like above entry-level version of the Mustang EcoBoost. Again, I'm not really sure if it would sit between the GT and the Dark Horse. We'll just have to wait and see, but there you have it, a brand new Mustang, the RTR. This has to be the coolest car at this auto show. This is the Ford Lightning Super Truck, a Pikes Peak Hill Climb Special, 1600 horsepower, full electric. So yeah, there's no engine, there's no noise out of this thing. It's just pure performance. But you know what? If you're doing a hill climb, I think electric is probably the way to go these days. If you guys remember the Volkswagen IDR, obviously electric as well, set a record. And then this thing, I do believe it was like the #1 performer at Pikes Peak last year. So pretty insane. pretty insane. We're gonna get a couple different angles of this thing as it is spinning around on the pedestal. I mean, you can already see the back here. I'll show you guys more detail in a second, but I'll start off with the front. You guys can see the crazy louvers sticking up there. Actually, it's not even louvers really. It stretches all the way across the hood. Obviously, there's no lights on it. It's all just basically forced induction, just creating more air streams to help with aerodynamics and performance. The wild carbon fiber canards, this huge front splitter, which is absolutely massive. Everywhere in this car is aero. Even the side mirrors are not actually side mirrors. It's even more aero up there too. And as it spins around here, you can sort of see the cuts behind the front wheels. Again, anything to help air travel and reduce drag to give this the maximum amount of performance on the hill climb. And obviously, you have to sort of work with the massive wing that's at the back, because as I mentioned, that's creating a lot of drag. Ford had to find a lot of ways to reduce that drag, and that's exactly what they did with all the aero on this truck. It's ridiculous, guys. Again, we'll have the back there, which I will get to in a second. I promise you guys about that. You can see these slick tires, obviously, on the car. You're not going to be putting street tires on this thing. So full Pirelli P0s, absolutely wild. Hard to see the interior, but full bucket seats. Everything is gutted. Of course, this is a full-blown race car or racetrack, however you want to call it. That is by far one of the coolest things I've ever seen at an auto show. This is really something you'd imagine to see at SEMA or the likes of any other trades or modified shows like that. But instead, Ford's brought it to a mainstream auto show. Another angle of that crazy rear wing back there. That is so damn cool, guys. But as promised, let's take you guys around to the back, because I think that might actually be the coolest part about this super lightning truck. You know, as it spins around to the back, I mean, you guys can get a better look at how massive the swan neck wing is on this thing. That is outrageous how big that is, creating so much downforce. But this is the coolest part. Everything's cut up in the back. It is electric, so you can't really see any crazy engine or anything like that. But you can see the batteries, you can see the suspension. That crazy cut diffuser is creating all of that downforce back there. You love how the slick tires are exposed as well. Just a wild machine, guys. Very reminiscent of the old school. I think it was the Tacoma that Toyota had back in the day that raced up Pike's Peak. It embodies the spirit, I guess you could say. That's probably the right terminology, but just a fantastic and crazy looking build. And thankfully, very good that Ford brought this here. Okay, it is very busy in the exotic section here at the Detroit Auto Show, so I'll kind of just do a one take and run through, show you guys everything that is in here. Very nice AMG GT Black Series. Silver against all the carbon fiber accents, I think, is one of the better looks for this car, so you can't really go wrong with that. Looks fantastic. Of course, we have a Series 2 Elise back there. Nice lower Huracan 992 GT3 RS. Again, great looking car, and pretty much any spec I think you can get from the factory. Hard to really make this car look bad. I think it's a great looking car. Go further down, more 911s. Check this out. We do have an Ariel Atom as well. It looks like the 3.5 version. You get smaller engines, but I think the ones with the high wing at the back are like the highest performing variant of the Atom. Just ludicrous track focused open wheel cars. Very cool. Don't really see these around too often. It's got like British Racing green body panels against the carbon fiber. I do kind of like how the doors are just like windows too, or like plexiglass, whatever you want to call it. Again, exposed suspension and shocks, just like the BAC Mono. Those carbon fiber tillets, bucket seats too. Very raw car, man. That is so cool. Even besides something like a Lotus Elise, the Ariel Atom is just like next level. Another car you don't really see too much of, again, the Jaguar XKRs. Obviously Jaguar is rebranding, going a completely different direction, but this is the real Jaguar that everybody knows and loves. And this one's dumped on HREs too. Got the canards. There's a little wing at the back as well. That actually looks really good though. Another modified supercar, the MC20. I think this is an Aria design kit. It does look very nice though. I know this front splitter and carbon fiber is aftermarket. There is a wing back there too. I'll see if I can get behind it for a better angle. There's the back of the Amira GT4, which is pretty cool. Obviously a track only race car. I don't think we've seen one of these before, But I think the Emira as a whole was obviously a very good package or a base to create a GT4 race car on. So glad Lotus went and did that and got back into motorsport. So that's nice to see. And there's the back of that Aria Design MC22. You can kind of see that little spoiler I was mentioning there. It's got a nice little OEM Plus look. I think it just suits the car. It's not over the top, but a great looking car nonetheless with some great mods on it. But yeah, nice little spread so far. You have a lineup of Ferraris here. This 296 Spider does have like a sort of a tailor-made anniversary livery on it, which is quite nice. The seats look different too, as you can see, red to black carbon fiber bucket seats. The 25 on the side, there is a plaque in between the seats. It has something to do with the 20th anniversary of something, so I'm not really sure what it's paying tribute to. It does look quite good though. It is tailor-made, so again, one of one, which is nice. Got a plain 296 there. Have an SF90, and over here the nice 812 Competizione, which are always good to see, and an interesting spec, the number 15 gumball on there with the, I can't really tell if it's like a Bianco Fuji or which kind of white it is. Hard to tell with this lighting, but it does have the traditional carbon fiber stripe. What I noticed though is that it doesn't have the Ferrari shields on the side. You've got that weird little yellow gumball sticker instead, so not sure what the deal is there. You rarely ever see Ferraris without the plaques on the side, but hey, to each their own. There's a Puro Sangue there, and there is also a Roma Spider. There's the new Vanquish as well, which does also kind of get these like 177 style headlights, just like the Vantage. It's really nice too. Kind of glad they've gone back to this more classic Aston Martin styling. Does look very good. Obviously a nice like shade of green too. Kind of hard to tell with all the changing light colors in here, but it is quite nice. And then there is the new Vantage as well. Again, very much reminiscent of the 177 with those new headlights and the grille as well. Ford GT Mk2 as well. Again, another like nice surprise I was not really expecting to see at this show, but obviously you can tell much different than the standard road going Ford GT. There's a ton of aero on it, a huge front splitter down there, the massive swan neck rear wing. The roof intake is my favorite part about the car, but just ludicrous. And I love that Ford sort of went all out with this thing. It got replaced with the GT Mark IV, which is even crazier, but hey, the GT Mark II is still really good to see. And I do love the livery on it as well. It sort of has like a heritage element to it. It's like classic Ford race car designs, but that is very lovely. And another car with a roof snorkel on it is this McLaren 600 LT. And I think I said before, if you're getting 600 LT, you've got to get the roof snorkel. It looks so good on that car. Probably the coolest one in this supercar display too, the Ferrari Monza SP1. So the single seater as opposed to the other variant you can get with 2 seats in it. And this one does have the cover over the side, so you can clearly tell that it is a single seat open top car. But man, that is just so good looking. Always a treat to see these. Haven't really seen them outside of Car Week, to be honest. So again, very nice surprise. And I think there's some other very good cars hanging out in this row as well. Okay, given the direction of traffic, I kind of have to come from the other way for the rest of this row, but we'll still get to see the cars. There's a Morgan 3-wheeler there, which is definitely one of the most interesting cars out there that you'll get to see. It's a 2-cylinder engine, I believe, which is mounted right in the front between the front 2 wheels, and then there's one wheel at the back, which is covered. The side pipes are really cool. I do like the checkered flag livery on this. We've got another GT Black Series. This one is the Project 1 edition, so if you ordered an AMG 1, you had the option to get this special GT Black Series as well, which gets all the tri-stars on the back and the little Patronus colored stripes on the sides and on the wheels. And we do have another Heritage Edition 4 GT. I don't even know which Heritage version this is. There's so many of them, but I think this is one of the better looking ones, this livery. It's very clean. It's not too over the top. Very nice. Speaking of not too over the top, one of the nicest car designs of all time over there, the Alfa Romeo 8C, which will never ever get old, and I think is only going to age like a fine wine. It's just, the lines of it are just fantastic. I don't know if Alfa Romeo is ever going to build another car that looks quite as nice as that. It's just such a good looking car. There we go. That's what auto shows are all about, in my opinion. Crazy concept cars. Really, that's my favorite thing to see. This is a Chrysler, and to be honest, I kind of forgot Chrysler even existed or was still making cars. This is a Halcyon concept car. It's brand new. I think they just debuted it here actually in Detroit, but obviously, yeah, it's not going to be street legal for a very long time, or not in this state, but cool interior. I do kind of like how it's like a makeshift going, except the doors open like backwards. I can't say the actual terminology. I think I'll get demonetized for that, but and then the top opens up sort of like a canopy effect. Pretty interesting. You know, the design looks pretty good from the back though. I'll see if I can get around to the front too, but hey, it's always interesting to see new concepts. Actually, you know what? The front is probably the best angle of this car. It's almost got like an Italian style to it, or like Italian coachwork design. It's pretty interesting. You see there's like no dashboard in it too. That's actually a really good angle of the interior. Just how crazy and futuristic it is. Definitely looks like something out of Blade Runner. The wheel design's pretty nice too. So you know what? Hey, if this means that Chrysler is going to start making interesting cars again, then that's all good. Because you guys remember when we went to the Peterson, you saw the Chrysler ME412 concept, or the ME412. Easily one of the coolest American cars ever built, even if it never made it to road production. But hey, if Chrysler can start building stuff like that again, actually put it on the street, I'm all for it. New Charger, of course, obviously getting a lot of attention. I think this is the full electric one, which is, oh my god, that just hurts to say, to be honest. This is the last car that should have gone electric. I do think there is another version that has like a 3-liter inline 6. But no V8's kind of crazy. The design's kind of growing on me. I don't mind like the light bar and the front fascia. It's not the worst thing in the world. I do still prefer the previous generation in terms of the looks, but this is honestly not too bad. I think it will grow on me. If there's like a beefier SRT version too, I think it might look okay, but it's you can't do the electric, guys. At least get the inline 6, or hopefully Dodge listens to everybody and does end up throwing a V8 in this to save the Charger and the Mopar name just in general. But I don't know, we'll see. But I will show you guys something cool that does actually have that new 3-liter inline 6 engine, and it is this previous generation Demon. So this is a Challenger Demon. However, they've taken that crazy Mopar V8 from underneath the hood and they've swapped in a new inline 6 Hurricane engine. Obviously, that has been modified as well with these crazy turbochargers, and the exhaust is poking right out of the hood. So I'm not even sure how much power this thing could be putting out, but obviously just going by those turbos, you'd imagine it's quite a bit. But I can definitely tell you that this is Dodge, I guess, trying to prove to everyone that this new inline 6 means business, and I'm sure what they've done with it, it's probably putting out even more power than what the Demon was. So pretty nuts, but I do like that they are getting creative and they are willing to prove to people that the inline 6 is good and the new Charger is going to perform very well with it. But my goodness, that is a wild setup. Those turbos are just ridiculous, and I just can't get enough of that exhaust pouring out of the hood. That is so damn cool. Holy moly, this is the back of the new C8 ZR1, which we did see this back in Monterey. It's probably the same car, to be honest, the yellow press release vehicle, but we never really saw it from this like sort of elevated angle where it's on the pedestal here. This gives it a way better angle of how massive that carbon fiber rear wing is. It's huge, guys. And this car is absolutely ballistic. I went over the power figures in that video, but I'm sure you guys are already well aware this thing has 1,000 horsepower. I can't even imagine how ridiculous it would be to drive this thing. That much power from a Corvette is kind of scary, to be honest, but I'm so happy that Chevrolet is still building these crazy Corvettes. And I mean, even the wheels down here, full carbon fiber. This is definitely an answer to all the hype that the Mustang GTD is getting. And Chevy comes out with this ridiculous Corvette and shows everybody that, hey, Corvettes are probably still the king of American cars. Okay, so we are headed into the modified section here at the Detroit Auto Show now. It's bigger than I thought, so I think this should be a pretty good portion of the video here. You can already see the R34 behind me there, but let's just jump right into the modifieds, guys. So there's a lot more cars than I thought there'd be in the modified section, but I guess just like the supercar room, we'll sort of just go row by row and do a one take and get everything we can see. Thankfully, the crowds seem a lot more spread out here than the supercar room, so we should get a better angle at these cars. I mean, the Corvettes already are pretty nuts. It's obviously a ton of modifications done under the hood of this purple C6. Very nice. Be interesting to see how much power it's putting out. I don't know if those tints are legal, but they do look pretty damn sick. And we do the back of a C7 here. Why not? I might as well show you guys this aggressive rear diffuser looking very nice. And as the C8's getting a lot of attention for the new ZR1 that we just saw, I still think these C7s are very good looking cars. And I don't know, I think they are starting to get a bit more love than they had before because the C8 is so radically different. I think the C7s are starting to grow on people even more. So yes, very good car. I think will go up in value and is going to age very well. You have a nice R34 GTR here, which has probably one of the most popular builds in recent times. It does have the Z-Tune kit on it, so you got that aggressive hood. We have these front fenders that do have that sort of like jagged edge that sticks out just in front of the side mirrors. You got the Nismo Rad down below, which is a little bit hard to see, but I do like this sort of like gunmetal or dark silver, dark gray. Very good looking. But over here, this is easily my favorite car in here. I know we're not going to top this, even though we haven't even seen most of the room yet. The Mines R32 GTR is my favorite JDM car ever. I'm not really certain if this guy has all of the full genuine original parts. It's really hard to tell, but overall it looks incredible. It definitely looks the part. It looks like genuine Mayans body parts, which is fantastic. It looks absolutely brilliant. He's even got the classic Mines livery on it too. So if you guys play like old Gran Turismo or even old Forza Motorsport games, you'd probably recognize this car. It's an absolute monster. There's so many performance upgrades done under the hood as well. So this is just fantastic. I love the BBSs on it too. It's got that classic look. It's got a titanium exhaust at the back there. Got this massive like carbon fiber, like additional gurney flap on here as well. Fantastic looking car. That is so nice. I'm very happy about that. But even though it's probably going to be my favorite already, I think I've already decided, of course, we will still keep looking at the rest of the modified cars here, like this Mark III Supra, which you can see has a ginormous turbo stuck to the side of it again. Can't even imagine how much power that is pushing out, but it looks very good. Inside, everything appears to be gutted, and that's definitely not an average street tire. Those are full-on drag tires. So yes, very much a drag race car. The tiny little Momo steering wheel looks very good, extremely minimalistic. That is, wow, that's nuts, guys. And the Mines R32 is like the king, or just the pinnacle, everything that JDM Performance is supposed to represent. But as you guys could already see, this is the exact opposite end of the spectrum. I think this is the Reliance Regal or the Reliance Supervan. I don't think it's the Robin. I think the back is a little bit different, but either way, it still has that ridiculous three-wheeled setup. If you've never seen Jeremy Clarkson driving this thing on Top Gear before, you're missing out. You should go watch that right after you're done watching this video, because it's absolutely hilarious. The three-wheeled setup is so ridiculous. Why they decided to put one wheel in the front and two at the back, it's pretty easy to roll these things. But yeah, check out that Clarkson video after this one. It's hilarious. Very funny to see one of those in the flesh, though. That's a very nice like slammed all-road too. I can imagine that's probably on air. I can't imagine you could drive that on static. It's got really nice work multi-spoke wheels though, which do suit the car very well. It's a great little setup, and it is for sale. Look at that. There's another special Nissan, the Pulsar GTR, probably a bit lesser known obviously than the likes of Skylines and Sylvias and Fairladies, but equally as cool, I would say. It's a homologated rally car. It has an SR20 under the hood, so very similar to what you would get in a top-of-the-line Nissan Silvia. This one does look like it has quite a bit of mods done to it too, but a very interesting and a very rare car too, especially in the US, because even in Japan we didn't really see too many of these kicking around. So the fact that there is a Pulsar here is very cool. And yeah, you will see Pulsar GTR rally cars if you go to like the Nissan collection or like the Heritage collection in Zama, anything like that. That's where you'll see the actual rally versions of these cars. But incredible, very quirky and interesting, but a very cool car. And behind it, this is not modified. It's technically supposed to be the modified section, but just a nice clean Gen 2 Viper GTS. It's got great body lines, and they are starting to go up in value this generation too. But yeah, again, I think it looks very nice. Behind that, we do have like a full like tribute to a C5R back here, looking very good. I love the Good Wrench livery on it as well. That looks fantastic. Look at this NAME. Had it absolutely nuts. Definitely looks like a time attack car. It's got grid life stickers on it as well. But the rear wing is what's obviously drawing a lot of the attention. That thing is massive, and it's creating a lot of downforce for a very tiny car. Behind that is a Chrysler 300 that I believe has a Hellcat engine swap underneath it. I sure hope it does, because I mean, you could see the massive supercharger sticking out on top. It's got Hellcat badges all throughout the car too, so I can only imagine that is the swap that he has chosen to do. So if that is the case, obviously you're getting about at least 700 horsepower out of this Chrysler 300. You can see he's swapped out the entire interior, redone it all in yellow with all the Hellcat badges on it too. All right, guys, check out this Mercury Cougar. I don't know if I've ever really seen this generation ever to begin with, let alone a modified one. Look at the size of the intake on this thing. It'd be very interesting to see if he's done anything under the hood. I can imagine with that size of an intake, he's definitely done something to the engine, so the performance would be pretty wild. It looks like he's got like big chunky 5-spoke American racing wheels on there, but the silhouette of this car is really interesting. Like, I've never seen a car that looks quite like that. The rear window almost comes down like a 90-degree angle, but the back bumper is so wild, and I love these little details with the reverse lights. It's actually got a Cougar badge inside. Quick zoom there. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting design. I've never seen anything like that. It looks like, I don't want to put it like this, but like an old man car. But they have done it up quite nicely, sort of giving it a sleeper performance kind of vibe. That is definitely not a sleeper, though. This Sierra looks like it's straight out of Midnight Club Dub Edition. Now, this Mustang, I think, is a drift car, given the negative camber at the front. So clearly, it's obviously probably putting out a ton of power. Yeah, you can actually see the air brake sticking out from the center there. So yeah, definitely a drift car. But what stood out to me is the very special looking wing, which has to be a custom one of one. But obviously, as we already saw with the Mustang GTD, that is clearly the inspiration for this wing, and honestly it kind of works with this body style too. I don't mind it. Check out this Foxbody, guys. Now this is a drag car. Look at the setup he's got. I would probably wager in the neighborhood of 1,000 horsepower, I would say. I mean, that is a bolt-on if I've ever seen one. That's crazy. Exhaust is dumping right out of the side fender over the front wheels. And if we go to the back, obviously there's the Hoosier drag slicks there, but there is the full parachute and the super low drag wing at the back. Does almost looks like there is an exhaust dump at the back there too, just in front of the low drag wing, but that's, oh my goodness, that is pretty nuts. Here we go, guys. Here is a modified pickup. This is a Datsun 620. It's a full-on rat rod, obviously. You can see the body's totally rusted out. Peeking underneath the side skirts there is a side exit exhaust, which is pretty damn cool, but underneath is an LS V8 swap. So I guess you could say it's a bit sacrilegious. There's a bit of controversy, I guess, with people LS swapping cars, but I don't know. I think with this sort of like old school JDM truck, I think it kind of works. I mean, yeah, you could probably do an SR20 or something, but if you're just going for power, I guess this is what you want to do. I love the little rad that's dumped out of the front as well. But yeah, I do like, you can see the piping leading to the side exits right there. Very clean, but yeah, he's gone all performance, doesn't care what the outside looks like, but it's all playing along with the theme of the truck, which is the rat rod style. The dish wheels are also a nice little touch, but that's pretty cool. Look at this Donk Impala, guys. The flip paint, purple, blue, green, a bit of everything in there. Check out the wheels, which are quite wild already, and just remember those for 2 seconds. So I'll show you guys the interior if you can see it. The steering wheel is actually a rim. It's literally the same exact design as the rim. There's no buttons on the inside. They literally just shrunk the wheel and stuck it in the middle of the steering wheel. And that's pretty much that. That's a hilarious build. Oh my goodness. Let me flip around one more second so you guys can get a look at the paint on this Donk Impala. That's ridiculous. And this one really took me by surprise. This is a E36 Compact 3 Series, but under the hood is a V12. I don't even know how the heck he crammed this thing into this small little car. The only BMW V12 I'm familiar with is the one that is in the McLaren F1. It's obviously not a McLaren F1 engine, but if someone would like to indulge me in some information, some BMW enthusiasts, let me know which engine this looks like, because this is just wild to me. I can't imagine how you could even fit this thing into this car, but he did it, and that is absolutely spectacular. I'm not sure what the purpose of this car is, but the fact that you swapped a V12 into an E36 Compact is already amazing enough, so kudos to this guy. This Blob Eye Subi looks fantastic. I don't even know what color this is called or what you technically call it, but it does suit the car very nicely. I love how he's put like these sort of interesting NACA ducts in the front bumper. You don't really see those ever in that position, but I think it actually suits the car really well. It's quite unique, especially over that APR front splitter. We've got some nice like carbon fiber inlets on the hood as well. Nice 6-spoke wheels, and there's a big wing back there too, looking very clean. It's a clean build. That's the best way I can put it. It's very good looking. It's not overdone, but he has stretched out the fenders just a little bit, which I do think sort of suits the build very nicely and accents the car overall very well. Okay, it's pretty tight here, but this SW20 MR2 is very nice. A car that generally just doesn't get enough love, but I think they are quite interesting. I like the bridge seats, the Takata belt. Look at the exposed shifter in there. That's very serious. But the biggest secret it's hiding. That does look like a K-Series Honda swap. So that is quite interesting and not something I was expecting to see on this little MR2. But again, probably a ton of power pumping out of this thing all the way from Mexico too. Shouts out to this guy. It's a very clean build, and that also has drag slicks on it. So drag builds apparently very popular at this show. And then there is a nice NA1 NSX behind that too. And back there, we do have a Demon as well. So good variety here at the modified section. And again, there's just another dumped Chevy over there too. Very good looking. Lots of cool stuff to see here in Detroit. Well, guys, I think that's pretty much a wrap here from Detroit. Pretty interesting auto show. Mainly focused on Ford, I would say. They definitely stole the show. The exotic section was pretty good. Really interesting modified section too. I really enjoyed some of the cars in there, especially that mine's R32. But we will be departing for the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed another vlog here in 6 cars. Got some big stuff coming up again from the US. So stay tuned for that. We'll catch you next time.